everybody, welcome to Big Balls Fantasy Football, the only show by real fantasy football fans, for real fantasy football fans. I'm your host, 20-year fantasy veteran, and fan of the now, unfortunately, 3-2 Bears, Greg Reifsteck.
And I am your co-host, Jenilee Borek, also a 10-year fantasy veteran and a Chicago Bear fan, and unfortunately, we lost today. And together, that makes us the beauty
and the beast
of fantasy football experts.
So yeah, we lost 26-18, and I got to see parts of the game, but you got to see the whole thing at Tin Horn Flats. How was the mood there today?
You know, the first half was just the offense was struggling. They couldn't get anything going. The defense finally was holding, unlike against the Lions game in the first half. Mm-hmm. And then the offense got going in the second half, and the defense couldn't hold. So it just seems like the losses are full team losses, and they just can't get it. They can't get it together. It was not a good mood at Tin Horn today.
I bet there was a lot of beer and a lot of shots done. But fantasy-wise, it was good for a lot of people. Cutler had a great fantasy day. He had 358 yards. He went 24 for 33 and had 2 touchdowns. I'll take that out of my quarterback. And we're going to talk about quarterbacks a little bit more in a minute. Drew Brees, 29 for 35, 288 yards, 2 touchdowns. Fantastic.
ALSHON had a great day.
ALSHON, 218 yards.
He went nuts. And a touchdown.
And a touchdown. And, I mean, that was just on 10 receptions. So the average is just crazy. I think Cutler has finally gotten comfortable with him, found his guy. Did his routes look a little bit better today?
Yeah, he looked great, and his hands were great. So he was pulling in the ball. He was securing the ball. So I think we definitely have a good number 2. And hopefully that'll open up Brandon Marshall. I know I have him in fantasy, and a lot of you fantasy people are struggling a little bit with him because his numbers are not like last year. But hopefully defenses will have to pay attention to ALSHON a lot more, and then Marshall will get going in this, later part of the season.
Yeah. Just one other note this week. The big shocker of shocks was the big injury this week. Speaking of people having to do without a big wide receiver, Megatron. Last minute scratch. Always a tough guy. Always, as a gladiator, comes in at the last minute. I wake up at 8:30 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, and he's out.
Yeah, and there were 4 teams on byes this week, too. So I'm sure for a lot of people, that was a hard last minute change to make in their lineups.
Yeah, definitely. But this isn't the year of the wide receiver, and this isn't the year of the running back. A lot of you have struggled with running backs this year. I mean, the list goes on and on. We know the R's: Ridley, Rice, Doug Martin, David Wilson.
They finally got a touchdown today.
Finally gets a touchdown, but a little bit too little, too late. A lot of people have dumped him. A lot of people are sick and tired of him. I finally dumped Ridley in one of my leagues. I mean, when your coach isn't going to play you anymore and then say you're injured, that's about it. And starts running back by committee, the dirtiest word in fantasy football that you can say. You're just done. So we are going to talk about quarterbacks because they have been very valuable. We had the big shootout game today.
Yeah, that game was awesome. And I had Tony Romo, and he had a great day. I know you have his stats.
I had Tony Romo in one of my leagues as well. And it was just a crazy, crazy, crazy game. I mean, his stats for this season are 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1,523 yards. Today's game was 51-48. He went nuts. He got a record 504 yards in one game. Broke his record. I looked down and I was just scrolling. I was like, wow, it's nice to see the number 65 next to your quarterback.
Well, and of course, when he has his breakout week, I have him in a league and I'm playing against him in a league. So it's he has his best week and I get screwed in one league with him.
The beauty of playing multiple leagues.
I know. And then Peyton Manning is still being Peyton Manning. That's not shocking at all.
Right.
He has 20 touchdowns so far, including a rushing touchdown. and 1,884 yards and only 1 pick.
Which
so
he threw today.
And I was going to say, if your quarterback has 20 touchdowns, you're probably not too upset about that pick. So he's just going off and losing it. And he's had 2 games for over 400 yards already. So that offense just looks pretty unstoppable. I don't know who's going to be able to stop them on defense, but it's tough.
I think it is a betting pool as to which team is going to stop them. And today, we're recording this Sunday, and we'll tell you why in a moment, it looked like the Cowboys could have actually done it. They could have actually done it, and Romo pulled a Phillip Rivers and threw a pick at the exact wrong time of the game.
Yeah, but Dallas's defense still allowed, 52 points. So even if a team can beat them, are they going to be able to stop their offense from scoring? I don't think so.
And on the flip side, Denver, very powerful defense, let all those points go from, of all people, Tony Romo.
Yep, it was a pure offensive game.
It was a great game to watch. I know everybody else liked watching it too. We're going to bring up a few other quarterbacks and their stats. Next down the line, Phillip Rivers of the Chargers, who, yes, likes to beat himself, but has turned into a pretty good fantasy prospect this year. 11 touchdowns, 2 picks, 1,199 yards. It's just been great. Eddie Royal was hot in the beginning, but now it's kind of gotten spread around to a lot of other receivers, so Eddie Royal has kind of gone down the popularity list. I mentioned Danny Woodhead. He did okay last week, not horrible. He got me some decent points. I got people decent points, so that's a gelling offense that's going on there in San Diego, but he's getting points for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's another quarterback. His name is Drew Brees. And
Might have heard of him.
I have him in a league. He had his worst game of the season today, actually, against the Bears, but he still went for over 300 yards. So he is a sure thing in fantasy. He has 1,722 yards so far, and 12 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So again, these quarterbacks are just blowing up fantasy with points, and hopefully you have these good quarterbacks and you're not struggling playing against them every week.
Yeah, and just to mention, we could sit here all day. The stats, Aaron Rodgers, I think, only has 8 or 9 touchdowns, but has a bunch of yards. If you go on the waiver wire, Hoyer was hot, unfortunately got injured. But even Whedon put up good points for the Browns. The quarterbacks are doing it fantasy-wise, even if they're getting injured, even if they're not winning games, they're still doing well.
Well, Russell Wilson had a good day.
For crying out loud, yeah.
So, it's definitely, again, you need those quarterbacks in your lineup and not playing against them.
Yep, definitely. So the reason why we're recording this on Sunday is because Jenilee is leaving tomorrow and I am leaving on Wednesday to Chicago.
Chi-Town. We are going to Chicago and we're going to a Bears game.
Thursday night football against the Giants, who still struggled today. And Mr. Manning, the other Manning, is still a pick machine. Even though he does have the Super Bowl rings, he's turned into a pick machine because they have no running game on the Giants. And I have a good feeling we're going to crush them. I have a feeling our defense is going to find ourselves against them.
Well, we need to. Those 2 losses in a row, really hurt the rhythm that we had going as a team. So it's time to get a win, and we're going to be there supporting. So come on, Bears, it's time to get a win.
Yeah, we're going to be at Timothy O'Toole's downtown in Streeterville before the game. Then we are going to take our Big Balls crew over to tailgating, the best tailgating in the world, at Soldier Field, and we are just going to party it up and hopefully have some great, interesting footage from the game and from you fans out there doing some user maboozums, some balls challenges, our usual fun, usual craziness.
Absolutely. And of course, you can watch us on our YouTube channel if you end up being filmed. One of the lucky fans that gets filmed. It's youtube.com/bigballsfootball. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/bigballsfantasyfootball, and tweet us, as always, at bigballsfball.
Definitely. All of this will be on our website, bigballsfantasyfootball.com. We'll be giving out our cups. You can come by and get a cup from us if you find us tailgating. And we're also going to be recording audio for the podcast. And actually, we're gonna be having you call in for our podcast, which we're gonna be doing Tuesday this week. And you can of course find that at blogtalkradio.com/bigballsfootball. I think we covered everything. We're all ready for your real men picks?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do them.